Okay, so
Exciting!
for our second and last speaker for tonight, so si Mai is the COO of the Passionate Creators Agency and a core leader of the Passionate Creators community. She is also a highly strategic online business manager for content creators and entrepreneurs. Mai helps make things happen for people she believes in. She empowers and builds confidence and clarity among leaders and founders, helping them establish and scale their businesses. And she is values driven and possesses a strong power to solve problems. Mai believes that everyone has their own greatness and strives to help people shine in their own ways, take up space and gain profitability doing what they love. And grabe, napaka relatable ng content ay yung pag-uusapan natin ngayon with my Priceless. You are the first you. And guys, to call on, palakpakan natin si Mai Cojuangco.
Let's go, Mai!
Pressure ako kay Kuya Lad. Sabi ko, si Coach Ron dapat yung last.
sorry.
Okay lang. Anyway, wait. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay.
Yes.
Oof. Hindi nakatago yung first sa front, Louis. Full siya nakikita.
Full
Walang
naman.
block. Okay.
Walang block. Perfect.
So, you're the first you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Mai. Na-introduce naman na ako ni Kuya Lad. So, I'll go into the topic itself. Personal request. I invite you to be open and make this time about yourself to introspect if mag-resonate sa'yo. I'd like to start with saying na at this point, I would describe myself as a Gen Z who's figuring her life out. I'm inspired by people who are making the most out of their lives and living it their way. The people who go after the things that make them feel alive. And my whole brand is centered on helping people see that things are possible and making things happen with them. This means that I don't just randomly blurt out na, kaya yan, to anyone. For me, when I say, kaya yan, it means I have something in mind on how it's going to work. Kasi I love witnessing people close to me get what they want. I love witnessing people win. And a metaphor, I would say na gusto ko na nawi-witness ko yung friends ko go from di ko kaya to, tapos kasama nila ako sa process until ma-reach nila yun. And then they finally claim that I did it. Gusto ko, ako yung maingay na cheerleader. Gusto ko pag sabihin nila, girl, I did it, ako yung magsasabi na you did kasi magaling ka. I brag about my friends a lot. And tonight, I'm going to share to you why I believe na what if people are willing to pay you just because it's you? And this is not black or white na I'm not saying na credibility doesn't matter or na fake it till you make it. All I'm proposing is, what if ikaw yung secret pill? Ikaw yung alas. Ikaw yung unique selling point mo. With that, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I'd like to start by saying na I believe every human being is multifaceted, and that means ang hirap to box someone into one label. Na we all have a unique set of experiences, values, preferences, privileges, hobbies, interests, skills. Kaya nga lumalabas ngayon, di ba, yung be the niche or be your own niche. That's why I came up with You're the First You. If you're curious but you're the first you, it actually came from a TikTok video, which sadly, di ko na mahanap. But the whole gist of it was, sometimes we're so into the next Bill Gates, the next Steve Jobs, or the next Elon Musk, na sometimes pag may rising star, usually na-associate na siya to someone who's already existing. Siya yung susunod kay ganito. But he proposed, we take for granted that you are the first you. You are the first you, and that should be revolutionary. And to me, I dig deep to that kasi one of the things na I would usually hear from Louie when it comes to solidifying our personal brand, when it comes to content creation, when it comes to people asking her about clarity, is bakit ikaw? Bakit sila manonood ng content mo? Ba't sila magbabasa? Ba't sila magkakapake sa'yo? And as the whole team went to Project OP, which is an accountability and coaching group for content creation, we had to post ahead before the launch to prepare us for the workload. As I execute, napapaisip ako, if it's only a matter of time and trial and error, of course, with skills and expertise to make any content work, what will you create? If lahat ng content magwo-work, ba't sila manonood sa'yo? Bakit ikaw? And usually, I connect it with, kasi you're the first you. But I'd like to ask, how often do we intentionally think, figure out, and celebrate what makes us unique? Pero, I leave you at that muna. At this point, I talk to you about why. Ano yung intention ko for this talk? Pero Mai, what if I don't know what sets me apart? What if I don't know what value I bring to the table? Here's a simple 3-step process I followed. It's just to identify, express, embody. First is identify, which is what makes you unique. Outline all the passions, hobbies, interests, preferences, strengths, personality, experiences, struggles, skills, expertise. 2 guide questions you can ask at this point are first, what unique challenge were you able to solve before that you think is also valuable for other people? And second, how can you help people your way? Next, it's what do you resist? What were the things you suppressed thinking na it was too weird, it was too cringe, feeling influencer and so on? What were the things you loved to do but you stopped doing because you were told na walang pera dyan, di ka naman magaling? Reminder, it's one thing to ask good questions and another to answer them. Tonight, I'll ask you to answer them. Don't let them remain as questions. Put your thoughts into words. Write them down. To me, to identify yung uniqueness, one of the things that helped me first was Clifton Strengths, which Coach Rod mentioned din kanina. Ito yung top 10 ko. And how it helped me was first, I would refer to it as therapy on steroids. Kasi it gives me self-awareness and accountability to improve without too much the emotional baggage. And at the same time, I leverage it in almost every aspect of my life. Personal, relationships, and career. Second, yung Strengths Unlocked ni Coach Ron. Kasi I went through it with Louie, Yel, and Ate Sari as a team. How it helped me was first, it allowed me to own what's natural for me. It gave me a new perspective then and appreciation for other people and for myself. And I remember saying yung strengths declaration ko. Tapos sabi ko kay Coach Ron, I feel uncomfortable. Parang ang bragging naman. Parang ang filler naman. Tapos yung sabi lang sa akin ni Coach Ron, but that's what's natural for you. Yan yung strengths mo. And at that point, I realized, nga, I'm not stepping on anyone kasi may strengths din sila. I have my own strengths to leverage and focus on and work on. But good news, I don't have to earn it. I just have to hone it. Last, if you're out of resources, next is yung Master Camp. How it helped me kasi it challenges me how I know myself. And second, it makes me answer the hard questions and not run from them. What's your ikigai? What's your infinite game? what's your unique value proposition? And this is what I'm saying na write it down. Iba yung may knowledge ka about, I have to write this, what's making me unique. But write it down. Put it into words. And lastly, you can check yung guides inside the Passionate Creators community. It can serve as your starting point if hindi mo talaga alam saan magsa-start. Reminder, you have everything you need. Resources are available. Clarity comes from answering these questions and doing the work. Next, on the 3-step process is to express. Is it through videos, photos, writing, painting, instruments, cooking, sing, whatever that is, create something out of it. Produce something. Personally, here's how I started. I started thinking what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, what I want to consume, what do I want to share. But the thing is, when I started, di ko sila alam lahat. Di ko rin alam, ano ba gusto ko? So, I tried by doing. Next point is, ito yung initial challenges ko when I was starting. I struggled to make creation a priority, but I want to leverage it at this point. I want to build my own online portfolio. Second, I value individuality, but I didn't know what I wanted to create yet. Tas gusto ko yung strategy ko yung mag-a-adjust to what I want to create. Kasi third, I wanted to create for myself. But then again, di ko rin alam, so paano magsisimula? Saan magsa-start? So, I tried by doing. Third step, here are the resources that you can check if di mo alam how to start expressing it through content. You can also go just sa guides inside the group for your starting point. Third step is to embody. Embody, meaning own it. When you identify what's unique about you, you express it, you own it. May version 1 ka na of why you. And be unapologetic about it. So, I tackled why, my intention ko for this talk, how and where you can start. Pero Mai, what made you say it's possible? First, here. I strategize, conceptualize, create scripts for creators. Of course, may iteration and all. Pero I wanted to highlight na these are paid partnerships. And my point here is, every single time, every brand brief, they will tell you, make it the most you. Make it as authentic as possible. Doesn't that answer why will people pay you? Because it's you. But then, gusto ko rin dig deep. Why would I want to work with Coach Ron, for example? But gusto kong magpa-coach kay Coach Ron out of the many coaches? For me, as someone na nakatry to be coached by Coach Ron, for me, he's a good coach. When I say he's a good coach, I mean every statement he says has a purpose. Simple, clear, concise, and answers a pain point. To me, that's expertise. To say what's actually needed at that point without the blurb, sa akin, expertise yun. As someone who's personally into courses din ako and workshop, I resonate with how Coach Ron facilitates. Being able to answer the right questions, challenge my current beliefs, value for money. Yung sabi nga ni Ate Wen na parang naabuso, nakaka-relate ako doon. Nga, Coach Ron's giving so much for it. Kaya, and that's not even the best thing yet, di ba? It's partnered with credibility and competence. Why would I want to work with Louie? Why would I consult with Louie? Kasi for me, she can untangle chaotic ideas, get to the root, and solve it. She can synthesize, simplify, and turn things into frameworks with supporting data. There's always a way to make it work when you're working with Louie. New ideas, input, and perspective. She leads by heart and competence. But ko gusto makipag-work kay Kuya. He can simplify things and make it systematic. He's reliable on everything. He can create compelling designs. He can entertain and accommodate people. He's consistent and ready to execute. But ako makikipag-work kay Yel. She's keen on details. She wants everything to be laid out. She has foresight on what might happen and does something about it. We're in sync on a lot of things. She can take care and accommodate people's needs. Why would people want to work with me? Ba't sila makikipag-work sa akin? Andito ko sa Tacloban. Andito ko sa Visayas, as lahat kasagaran andun sa Manila. Maraming mas magaling. Maraming mas accessible. Does that mean I'm special? Not really. I just leverage yung na-share ko na process kanina. I just identified what's unique about myself. I express it through content or through the work output I provide, and I embody it. Instead of saying embody, when I say embody, it means na instead of trying to be like Louie, Kuya Lad, or Yel, I'm just Mai. That's my why me. I have my own puzzle piece. Is it perfect? Hindi rin. But actually, when you try to look at it, wala naman actually life-changing sa steps na na-share ko. Most likely, you know someone who has a better structure. So the question is this, ikaw, ba't ikaw? Why would people want to work with you? And if you don't have the answer to this question yet, the more pressing question is, kailan ka magiging intentional about it? Kailan ka magsisimula? Kailan ka magsisimula ulit? I shared to you the why, the how, the what. What's my proof? Here are 2 reminders na I hope you can take from this talk. First is, don't be afraid to be seen trying. And by trying, I mean doing it imperfectly. By trying, I mean publishing, reaching out, applying, producing, posting, building, putting things out there, next needle moving steps. I used to deny that I was conscious of how people will perceive me. Pero, di ba nakakapagod? It's the second half of the year and you're still saying the same things to yourself. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do, for example, in the context of content creation, na since January, yun na yung resolution natin. Gagawa na talaga ako. Magdo-document na talaga ako. Di ba nakakapagod? Na same reasons yung sinasabi natin. Here are 3 things I learned from trying. First, there are things I only learned when I started executing. No obsession with details will make me arrive at this depth of understanding without the execution part. I started being okay at being a beginner. I just wanted to consume less and create more para ma-synthesize ko siya. Next is, the more I did the necessary work imperfectly, the more I had control over my progress. The more mas may data ako on what I can improve on than me focusing to perfect kung ano yung next move ko. Kasi gusto ko perfect. So, the third one is, the more I try imperfectly, the more I get results. This came from, actually kahapon lang, yung tinitignan ko yung insights ko on my accounts. Tapos natatawa ako kasi one of the things I was thinking was, if I didn't try 30 days ago, I wouldn't get the results I have now. Yun yung pinaka-learning point ko na, nga no, if hindi ako nag-start 30 days ago, wala ko nito ngayon. It's not that big, it's not that grand, pero I wouldn't have that progress if hindi ako nag-start 30 days ago. So I try to continuously learn to love the process. Next is being you is up to you. So if you're quirky, if marami kang interests, if wala kang interest, that's up to you. Don't let anyone tell you how you should be. I didn't initially want to create kasi wala namang pumipilit sa'yo if ayaw mo diwag, 'di ba? You can just opt to not attend PC or like hindi ka na lang gumawa, hindi ka na lang mag-attend. Wala namang pumipilit sa'yo. But siguro one of the things that triggered me in a good way was when Louis asked me, what if may mag-invite sa'yo sa isang art exhibit or photography exhibit kasi nakikita nila na you're into it because of the content you produce. And to me, that made me excited. That made me think, shucks, gusto ko mag-documentary. Ang dami kong gustong gawin out of it. And as I go, as I learn more about myself, I realize the people I want and don't want. So, one purpose for me is I want to meet people who I vibe with. People na it's easy for me to be me. And there can be a different version of that for you too. What if ma-invite ka sa TED Talk? What if ma-invite ka sa music industry? What if ma-meet mo yung mga authors na gusto mo ma-meet? What if you get to sing on a huge stage? What if people would go after your product? Just because you made yourself discoverable through the content you put out. Paano mo ma-attract yung people and opportunities if you don't put yourself out there? You only have this one life. Will you really, really just live it to chance? I just talked about the why, the how, the what. The question is when. When will you move? And I'm going to end this with a quote by Kevin Kelly. Don't aim to be the best, be the only. You're the first you. Ikaw yung unang ikaw. Show up out there, whatever that may look like. No one is coming to save you. Get out there. Stop scrolling on your TikTok, on your Instagram, on whatever platform it is for the dopamine boost it gives you. There's a life to live. There's a life to live. Make your mark. And I hope the next time someone asks you, bakit ikaw? Sana may sagot ka na. Or better yet, you're confident enough to answer, bakit hindi? Yun lang. Thank you.
Oh, shoot! Guys, unmute kayo. Solid yan. Thank you.